Been a while since I've worn this t-shirt. I really like it. So I've been thinking about the top things that get someone to the point where they're sitting across from me at my desk, with my job being an addiction counselor. And the number one thing I would say is that moment of grief that people have when someone close to them passes away or they lose something very important to them, job, car, whatever, you know, divorce. That grief allows people to drink just a little bit more than they normally do, and then they get in trouble, and then they end up sitting across from me. That's like the number one thing is grief. Number two is celebrations, right? It's kind of the same mechanism. People think that because I'm celebrating today, I can drink just a little bit more than I normally do, and then they get in trouble, and then they end up my client. So that's number one and two by far. Like, as far as reasons that I think people end up across from me. And then number three is actually an occupation, right? And that occupation is food service, bartending, waitressing, catering. I just call it food service. That is a very big portion of my clients, big demographic for addiction counselors. And then for fourth place, I've got two things right now that are fighting for my attention, right? They're themes that show up a lot, but one of them showed up more before the pandemic, and the other one seems to be more of a trend that happened during the pandemic and is continuing afterward. So the one that showed up before the pandemic was yoga. Now, I don't know that it's causal. It could just be that when somebody has a really big problem that pops up in their life, they start looking for all the different ways to feel good and right things in their life, and they start, journaling, and they start doing self-care books, and then they go to martial arts classes. But yoga has come up so many times as something that, in other circles in my life, I've never heard yoga come up as much as it does with my clients. And the other thing right now is golf. And I think that might have to do with people looking for a healthy thing to do, and then the pandemic kind of shut everything down except for, people still wanted to go out hiking and running and, social distancing for people. And golf is something that you can social distance with. But my clients especially seem to be drawn to golf. Not to the beer carts or, the clubhouses in particular. They're staying sober, but golf, it's getting to be as bad of a correlation as yoga. But, yeah, the top three that you can possibly, try to avoid in your life is letting yourself overindulge because of grief, letting yourself overindulge because of celebrations, and don't work in the restaurant industry. Food service will get you. That's my thoughts for today.